Hey guys, it's Dave of My Freedom Smokes. Today I'm going to talk to you about a mechanical mod. It's been a while since we've done anything with a lot of mechanicals. The regulated devices pretty much have taken over the market, but Geekvape has gone and put it together a pretty awesome little mechanical kit called the Karma Kit. What is a nice hybrid direct battery connection mechanical mod made out of copper, and it comes with the Karma RDA RTA, basically a hybrid. This thing can be used as an RDA or an RTA. Just some pieces come apart and go together and configured differently to make it into an RDA. It's a 25mm setup. When it's in the RTA version, it's got a 5ml juice capacity. So you hold plenty of liquid instead of having to constantly drip. You're still getting the benefits and the power you would with a normal mechanical mod with a nice 5ml juice well built into it. Let's go ahead and take it apart and kind of show it to you real quick. Alright, and it looks like they're calling the mod itself the black ring, which I guess is kind of self-explanatory. It's a copper tube with a black ring at the bottom. Holds a single 18650. Just going to slide that out, and the button assembly just threads right off of there. Nice big insulator in there, and then when you press it, copper contact comes up. Simple enough. That's how mechanical mods are made to work. Real simple. No regulation for all you people that may have never been seen a mechanical mod or used one. Some of the newer vapors, since regulateds have been pretty much the norm lately, the mechanicals have kind of been pushed aside, but it's a nice little mechanical. Now it's, like I said earlier, it's a hybrid direct battery connection, so if you look there, when you take that tank or RTA or RDA, whichever you have it configured, you can look right through there. And that's just because when you screw it in, the top of it makes direct contact with that battery, like so. Now in doing so, you want to make sure you have a good, about 1mm of protruding from that positive contact pin, which you can kind of see that one sticks out a pretty good bit on the bottom there. And that just keeps it from having both the base, which is going to be your ground, and that positive pin touching the top of your battery at the same time. That's essential when you're using these style mechanicals. If you have one that's not sticking out quite far enough, you will short a battery out. It will cause damage to the battery, and most importantly, you will get hurt, which is not good. You don't ever want to get hurt when vaping. You're supposed to be doing this without having to worry about getting hurt, not doing something that's going to potentially hurt you. So be sure that if you use something different than this, that does have that little copper, or in this case it's gold plated, all these pins, you will make sure they're sticking out a good bit. All right, so what we got here, I'm going to put this back on. It's 25mm RDA RTA with a velocity style deck, one of the more popular decks on the market, with some oval shaped holes so you can put some wider leads in there like you would have on some Claptons or some Aliens maybe. And then when it's an RTA configuration, you just drop your cotton leads down into your juice capacity down through the bottom, and that way it just pulls the liquid into there as you burn it off the cotton itself. Real nice little setup. I've used mechanicals for years and always dripping and stuff, and it's kind of like sometimes you get a dry hit and you're like, man, it'd be kind of nice to have some little more area to hold liquid. So this has been real nice using this tank. Now the way you would turn it into an RDA from this tank is you'd take out the build deck, which I really don't want to take it all apart right now, but it just threads in there. Take that off. The bottom of itself have its own 510 connection with an adjustable contact pin, and then that screws into the base here where the black ring is here. Screws right onto the base, and then you plug that directly onto your mod. You've got an RDA for dripping. All right, so I'm going to put it back together, vape on it a couple times for you and show you how it works. One more thing I want to cover before that is just this mod itself. Seeing it came in a kit and it was a lower priced, affordable, authentic mod, I was wondering about the quality of it, and so far I can tell the quality is pretty good, and some of the stuff they've done on it's better than some of the higher end stuff I've had in the past. One of the first things I noticed is the vent holes. There are little holes all around the bottom here. That way if for some reason there is an accident or something goes wrong with your battery, there's plenty of holes for that gas that comes out when the battery vents to get out of there. And just like with the bottom put on there and just drawing air through the 510 connection, I noticed there's a lot of venting, and it's almost more airflow than some of the RDAs I've had in the past, which is a little funny, but it's really good for in case an accident does happen. You don't want this thing just filling up with pressure. You want that pressure to be able to come out. So, man, that's great venting. And then the other thing I noticed is the whole inside of it's insulated. You never should be using batteries with torn battery wraps, but the fact that they insulate the inside of that kind of helps for in case you do have a nick or a tear in your battery wrap that you don't realize. You don't want the battery in there arcing inside of there on the inside of your mod. So it's cool it's insulated, so the only thing that makes contact is directly at the 510 and when your button makes contact with the bottom. I mean, you see that thing just sits flush on the insulator, and then when you press that, it just makes contact there. So the only things that should be touching metal are the parts that are supposed to be touching metal, as opposed to having maybe your battery shorting out on the inside of your mod, which can cause disaster and venting and stuff like that. So when you put it back together, you always want to make sure your tank or RDA, whichever way you have it configured, is put on there first. And then you want your high amperage, high drain battery. You don't want to really concerned about the milliamp hours. You want something that's going to be higher amperage, especially if you're going to be doing sub-ohm with this. And the build I have on there is sub-ohm. It is a 0.3, between 0.25 and 0.3. Brand new battery in there. Let's go ahead and fire it up and show you how it runs, and then I'll take a couple vapes off of it for you real quick. And if you're used to regulating, you may notice it's a little bit of build-up time just because it does take a little longer for those coils to heat up with a mechanical. Alright. It's a great little vape on there. It puts off plenty of vapor production. Still good flavor. It does have adjustable airflow in the sides. It can be adjusted for dual coils or single coils. I'm kind of pretty excited about this. I mean, mechanicals is what I came up on. It's where I learned how to build my first coils. Some of the earlier step-ups from some of the simpler variable voltage devices or just regular ego devices, I got into mechanical tube style mods. And then once the market started getting flooded with the DNA chip stuff like that, I started going to DNA regulated, but my heart was still always look back fondly on mechanical mods like this. It's really cool to see some innovation coming for those and newer devices and kits being offered for that at affordable prices. I mean, used to a device like this, the mod alone, you're looking probably $100 for the way this thing works. And this kit itself is half that with a nice RDA/RTA included with it. So it's really cool stuff. See what Geekvape's doing. Geekvape's been putting out some great stuff, like the Griffins, the Avocados, all those great RTAs. It's cool to see them do a mod, especially a mechanical mod. Like I said, it's where my heart's always been all these years, even if I've strayed away like everybody else has with the regulated devices. So yeah, if you want to check out a new mechanical style mod, maybe like me, you've come from the past of using nothing but mechanicals. You want to try something different, check out the Karma kit, but make sure when you do, you know what you're doing. You know how to make your builds. You got a nice ohm reader. This one takes out all the ways of checking and everything like you would when you throw it on DNA 200 where it gives you your resistance. This right here doesn't do any of that work for you, so you make sure you're safe with it. Use proper batteries, use common sense when it comes to your connections. You should be good to go. Mechanical mods can be a lot of fun. Instead of just setting this thing up to 120 watts, you gotta make sure you got a good coil, good battery, and then when you get a great vape off of it, you feel good. You're like, you know what, I did that. I made that happen. So definitely give the Karma kit a look. It's something definitely worth checking out. If you have any questions about the Karma kit by Geekvape, leave them in the comments below. As always, this has been Dave with My Freedom Smokes, and thank you for vaping.